So when you start looking at a bunch of survival stuff, there's something called, they call them bug out bags or bobs. And that's kind of what this is. This goes with me everywhere. I have an airplane version. I have a travel when I'm driving version. I have a family version. I have a long-term version for the house to be able to move, and then I have house stuff. Now some of these, like this here, I put it in another bag, and the stuff that's in the bag and that become my travel version. I take that bag and I stick it in here, and that's my truck bag, you know, when the whole family is moving. So it doesn't have to be all of these things with multiple pieces. It can be something, you know, it can be modular and go into stuff. All right, now we're going to talk a little bit about kit, and then I'll start asking questions. So kit, your stuff, all of it needs to be multi-use items. A lot of people like to get these high-speed, super expensive things that don't do a bunch of crap. It needs to do a bunch of crap. If it doesn't do a bunch of crap, don't have it. There's a few things that you may need that are super specific. First aid, for example. You don't really want to use a multi-use first aid something. You're not using a straw to intubate somebody or make a nasopharyngeal tube, those things that go up in your nose and out your throat. You don't need a straw for that. You want an actual nasopharyngeal tube, right? So, but first aid is one thing that you want something super specific on. But most everything else, you can kind of have it fit multiple platforms. Okay, so it's really easy to get all spun up and crazy about this. It's really simple to do that. The key is it has to make sense for your level of understanding and your skill set. The better you get, the more interesting stuff that you can have. An example is I'm super good with a pistol and a rifle. I'm comfortable. Well, I've been in my fair tiffs with a pistol and a rifle, and I've, you know, no new holes, right? And that's what we're looking for. Not everybody has that. Not everybody's down for that. Bear spray. Bear spray you can get at REI. You can get at Big Five. You can get at all these places. It shoots a pepper spray at 30 yards in a cone like this. And if you got a bunch of mean people coming at you and your family, and you bear spray them, they're no longer mean people coming at you. They're mean people all snot and pissy and anger. That's where they are over there. Great, it's 35 bucks. It's super easy to use. An air horn is another one. Air horn is an awesome $5 tool that everybody in the world will hear. It's 150 decibels, and they make them tiny. I'm sorry?
What do you use an air horn?
What do I use it for? Signaling friends or family, or scaring the bejesus out of somebody. Somebody walks in and you go, and like, oh, Jesus, they go into startle flinch reflex. You hit them with some bear spray, and then you giggle as you run away. That's what it kind of looks like. That's funny. When I was on that show in the colony, I got bear sprayed in a fight. They had 20 guys attacking me, and they bear sprayed me. And you can see, it's like, but they used to pepper spray us a lot in the military and make us fight. So some people will fight through it, but you bear spray them, they can't see. So then if you don't fight well, if you don't understand how to do that stuff, and they got clubs or knives or something, you spray them, it gives you a whole lot of time to make different choices. So, and there are people that it doesn't affect. So, but they're very few and far between. Bear spray, it's your friend. It's your friend. Don't spray it into the wind. It happens all the time. You see women that get mad and they try to pepper spray somebody with their little pepper spray running thing, and they get splashed back, and it's bad news. So if you do spray it, your hand is always up here, and you turn your head slightly so you're looking out of one corner of your eye, preferably your non-dominant eye, your one that you don't like. If you point at some, if you're playing cops and robbers and you go and you close one eyeball, the eyeball that you close is probably your non-dominant eye, so I would cover that one. You know, I'd leave that one open because you're probably not going to use it anyway. You know, it's not your focus eyeball. It's your depth perception eye, not your focus eye. So I kind of look out of that. This is my non-dominant eye, so I'm blocking here. So my dominant eye I can still use if I get hit. Okay. First, if you don't maintain a body core temperature of 98.6 degrees, bad stuff starts happening. Okay. So we need to maintain that. And that's going to come from hydration, food, shelter, not getting sunburned, that kind of stuff. Not hanging out in an icy pool. That's not going to work. So the first thing we're going to talk about is shelter. What is shelter? Let's talk about that. Give me some descriptions of shelter.
Cover. Warm. Protection from the elements.
Protection from the elements. That's what I'm going to go with. I like that one. Ding, ding, ding. That's going to be the most broad concept. Your first level of shelter is clothing. When I'm living in California, when I'm in Texas and I'm on my motorcycle or I'm on in my truck, I always have a big brim straw hat. I'm not wearing it on my motorcycle. It's in the motorcycle. I always have a long sleeve shirt. I always have some sort of bandana that I can keep wet. And I have a pair of shoes that I'm comfortable walking in. I don't like wearing shoes, but when I do, I have a pair of shoes that I'm comfortable walking in. I don't really care about in an environment like this, I don't care about keeping dry. So I don't worry about having a rain jacket because best Gore-Tex in the world is your skin. You know? And if it's not cold out, if you're a little wet, it's probably gonna feel good if you're walking a long ways, unless you tend to chafe. If you tend to chafe, get some dry stuff. The most important thing that you can have shelter-wise is your base layers, the layers to protect you from the elements. It's more important than having a tarp, a tent, a house. So for every bag that we have in the house, for the youngin' in the house, we have a coat for her, we have a long sleeve shirt, we have a hat, we have some shoes. Same thing for my woman and same thing for myself. We have that kind of stuff just there. So the different types of things we have to protect from are cold, hot, rain, snow, and bugs. Bugs screw some stuff up. So part of your shelter is keeping bugs off of you. If you don't like DEET, which I don't like DEET, bugs don't, well, that's not true. I was gonna say bugs don't bite through clothes, but I got a story about that. Lemongrass and eucalyptus mixed works great. I can't stand the smell of citronella. It makes me want to vomit, so I don't mess with that. But lemongrass and eucalyptus together keeps them off. The clothes that are in the bug out kit have not been washed with soap or anything perfumey because bugs tend to go after that. So it's been washed in hot water a couple times to get rid of any of the scent, and it works better to keep the bugs off. Now, I'm in Louisiana doing a show for Discovery Channel. It was 6 days of torrential downpour. Like, I've been in monsoons, I've been in jungles where it was just like, that was the worst storm I've ever been in my life. It was 30-mile-an-hour winds. It was filling up a 5-gallon water bucket in a matter of 45 minutes, just sitting out in the middle of open sky for 6 days. It was like that. And in that, through a wool shirt, long sleeve shirt, and through a waterproof jacket, I was getting bit by bugs. They were landing on me and biting me. I'm like, how in the world are you flying in 30-mile-an-hour winds and biting me? You were a bad dude. I don't want to mess with you. So you do have the opportunity to get bit, and I was all swollen up and I looked weird. So for clothes, you have a base layer, a mid layer, and an outer layer. Base layer is stuff that you wear up against your body. I tend to like wool. Wool keeps you warm and it keeps you cool if it's super thin. And if you want specific types of wool, you can email me and I will give you companies that I only purchase from. There's certain companies I won't buy from because they're not worth it. They're way overpriced or they fall apart very quickly. Wool holds 7 times its weight in moisture before it starts to feel clammy or gross. Like cotton, it's like nothing. You put on cotton and instantly you feel kind of, ugh. Wool doesn't do that. All the fibers are kind of hollow and it just sucks up water. It gets a little heavy, but you don't feel wet and gross and sticky. And so that, it works so well you can use that as your base layer and your mid layer. You don't have to have a secondary. And then your outer layer, for my outer layer, if I'm just rolling around town, I like to have a synthetic shirt. This is cotton, so something like this. It's got some pockets on it. I might have one. Yeah, I got one. Okay. Synthetic shirt. Collar comes up to protect the back of my neck. You know, I get moonburnt. sparks fly off of me. It's not really great, and I don't like sunblock. I don't trust it. I still think you get the radiation. I'm not messing with it. This keeps it off my skin. Plus, it messes up your vitamin D synthesis. Sunblock will screw up your ability to synthesize vitamin D, and vitamin D is one of those things that are really important, and that's one of the biggest things that people are missing in their nutritional life, and it causes all kinds of dysfunction, from being grumpy pants to all kinds of autoimmune disorders are directly reflected to it. And it's got pockets, big giant pockets where I can carry a bunch of stuff easily. And I can have a snack, I can have hard candy for the kid, I can have a map, I can have, all kinds of stuff, really close, easy access. Lots of pockets. This is SPF 50. You can find them on sale for like 20 bucks. It's super comfy, full range of motion. This goes on outside of my base layer, and it keeps the sun off me and it stays cool. If I get super hot, I can take off my base layer, get this wet. I'm still protected from the sun, and I'll stay cool for a long period of time. This is a super, super cheap company that makes a really good waterproof, breathable jacket where you can go spend $150 on a waterproof, breathable jacket that you're going to tear up in a couple years, or you can go spend 20 bucks on one, and they come in all colors. They make them in pink and purple and olive drab. And it kind of looks like paper, but this thing works really, really well. And if I tear it, rip it, I don't care because it was 25 bucks. And that was 25 bucks new.
Where do you have such a
You can get this at most, like West Marine has this. West Marine. So there'll have to be a cut here, but this is called a frog tog. A frog tog, F-R-O-G-G-T-O-G-G. And they make pants and jacket. They don't pack up as small as some of the other stuff I have. I have one that I didn't bring that packs up the same size as a Cliff Bar. It's made out of something called sil nylon, and the whole jacket is this big and it fits me, and it'll go over some stuff. And that's what I carry when I'm on my motorcycle. If I need to walk somewhere, I can just toss it on and it keeps the rain off me, or the snow if I have snow.
What was that called?
What was what called? Anything that's sil nylon is going to be super tiny. Silicone impregnated nylon, and there's a whole bunch of different brands that do that. You can get them from 20 bucks to 150 depending on how. Some of them are laser cut and heat welded, so they don't have any seams, and they're super strong, to mass made out of China that costs 20 bucks and it's still sil nylon, but it'll leak on the seams. Okay. So that's some base layer stuff. The next base layer, this is an outer layer, and this is a $300 jacket. This particular company, I don't really like camo stuff, even though it looks like I do because I got all this stuff. This actually goes with me overseas, but I live in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, where it was -20 in the winter, and this keeps me warm. So I have on a small wool shirt, I have on something like this, and I toss this on, and I'm warm. And because it's wool, if it's getting snowed on, it's not going to mess with anything. If it's rained on, I'm kind of hooped, but otherwise I'm good. Super comfy, full range of motion, and it doesn't make any noise. So I can be super quiet if I want to be quiet. I don't have to hear that crackling noise all the time. I can ski in it. But that's like 350 bucks, and not everybody's going to spend $350 on a high-priced piece of wool. But that's to show you the difference in what you got. This is an outer layer compared to my $20 jacket that's going to get ruined. This will last, and I have friends of mine that have the same version of this, an older version that's 25 years old, and it still works the same because the manufacturer does a really good job. Where I know that every single waterproof, breathable jacket I have is going to be done in 5 years. So I'm not going to spend $300 on that. I'll spend $300 on something like this.